Hello, hey, it's Brendan here from WPAlpha. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to set up caching on your WPAlpha account. I'll take these off. So we basically have two options with caching, and let's talk about what caching is for a second. So in WordPress, you really need to use page caching to make the site work fast. So essentially, what happens with a cache is basically somewhere on the server, the pages are pre-built in advance and saved on the server. So when the user hits the site or requests a page from the site, the page is ready to go and the web server can just send it. If the pages aren't cached or there's no cache in place, basically the server has to do a bunch of database lookups, run a bunch of PHP, and then send the web page to the visitor. That process can take anywhere from 1 to 5 seconds, even longer on a big site or a complex site. So as you can imagine, that makes the site slow. So with caching in place, those pages are generally pre-built in advance and then sent to the user. In some cases, they need to be built. So the first time they are built and then sent to the user, and then the second page load, they're ready to go. So we need to use caching. So we need to use page caching. Now, there's a couple of different ways to do that. So the simplest way is to use a plugin to do it. So we recommend either using WP Rocket. So go to wprocketplugin.com. This one is very much DIY. It's very simple, and it does a whole bunch of other speed optimization as well. So it is a paid plugin, but it is well worth it. It's $59 a year for a single site. It does a whole bunch of other stuff as well. So if you're not so technical, you're DIYing, that one is the way to go. Sorry, itchy nose. If you're a bit more technical, flyingpress.net would be the other option. I think it might be same price, similar price, a little bit cheaper, $49 a year. It's a bit more technical and has a few more options. So those are generally the two plugins we use. So if you're going to use the plugin method, then you don't need to do anything with this video. Just install the plugin and configure it as per the plugin instructions. But if you want to use the inbuilt caching on the hosting, this is how you do it. So I'm here. If I just go to, I'm logged into the back end. So if I go to WordPress, you'll see I have my sites here. We have this section here called caching Nginx. So Nginx is a type of web server. So we actually use two different web servers in WPAlpha in conjunction. So we use Nginx, which is in front of Apache web server. And the reason why we use the two is Nginx is better at some things. It has a lower memory footprint. It's very scalable. So it can scale to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of visitors, no problems. Apache is there for compatibility. So Apache is like an older web server, and it's basically what WordPress was designed for. So it is more compatible with WordPress. So we use a combination of the two. Nginx does some of the work like serving up images, CSS, JavaScript, and Apache does the grunt work, the processing. So the combination of the two is faster than just Apache alone. Apache has some weird ways it deals with memory, so it doesn't deal well with a lot of connections, whereas Nginx can scale to almost infinity. This caching turns on caching at the Nginx layer. So there's a few steps to do here. So first one is to turn it on. There is a plugin that you probably want to use called Nginx Helper plugin. Nginx Helper for WordPress, this one here. What this does, this helps manage the cache better. So Nginx Helper, it's free. It's very simple. So basically install it and you have these options. So basically it allows you to purge the cache from the back end of WordPress. It basically allows WordPress to talk to the web server. So basically when a page is updated or created or whatever, it clears the cache. So the options there, those are fairly self-explanatory, I think. So you need to install this plugin. Ideally, we don't need to, but ideally. And then you'll see there's this kind of little toggle here, and you want to mess with, well, you're going to go in and look at the settings there. So I'll just enable it here. Okay, there's a few settings. So cache size, you probably want to set this at 0.5 GB, something like that. Cache timeout, so this is how long the pages are cached for. 1 day is a good amount. If the site doesn't have a lot of changes, even 7 days might be better. If the site has a lot of changes, like it's a WooCommerce site, maybe 12 hours, something like that. Let's talk about disabling caching for locations. So these are pages that you don't want to cache. So in a WooCommerce site, cart, checkout, wishlist, my account, places like that. You probably want to use both variants with a / and without it. Depending on your site configuration, both of those pages may load. Generally, the / is the one that is more common, and in some cases this will redirect to this, but we want to exclude both just in case. So I'd add both of those in. That's why they're there. You want to click all these because you don't want caching for the WordPress backend. Leave these two guys alone. Now, caching requests with cookies. So by default, if WordPress sets a cookie, This caching system is very safe and it will bypass the cache. In WooCommerce, there are some cookies that when a user starts a session or adds something to the cart, WooCommerce cookies them. So you might want to, now we're getting technical, and this is why WP Rocket might be a better solution if you have a technical site or a WooCommerce site and you're not so technical. But these are the WooCommerce cookies. So you can cache these, and items in cart is one that you probably want to cache. Same with WooCommerce session. But anyway, there is the option there to mess around with it. It's very technical. So that's why I say it's, if you have a complex site, you probably want to use a plugin. So basically, those are the settings there. If you want to clear the cache, you can do that. This does basically the same as the Nginx helper plugin. So that's pretty much it. What else? If you want to check and see if the cache is working, you can check the header. So if we look at this website, KeyCDN has a header checker. And basically, when you enable the caching, I'll just check it. It adds a new server header, this X cache status. So this is the server caching. So if that says hit, then the server has cached it. So if it says bypass or something else, then the cache is turned off. So in this case, it is working successfully. And the site is really fast on the front end. So the Nginx cache will actually be a touch faster than WP Rocket and Flying Press, but then you have the technical trade-off and the reliability potentially there as well, or compatibility. So that's pretty much it. Turn it off. It's pretty straightforward. I'd turn it off in both places. Let's just make sure it's off here. Let's just see. I'll just turn it off here too. Just do it in both just to be safe. And that's pretty much it. So quite straightforward. It's going to be much more reliable if for smaller sites or more simple sites that are just content versus something more complex like WooCommerce. If you get stuck with this or have any questions, reach out to our support team, log a ticket, start a live chat. It is a very complex setup. So again, if you're running a WooCommerce site or a membership site, probably better to use a plugin. It's better off at managing the caching, and especially because the plugins like WooCommerce can talk to the caching plugin as well, so they kind of work better together than the web server cache. Anyway, that's it. I'll leave you to it. Like I said, if you have any questions, log us a ticket with the support guys, and they'll be able to help you out, and we'll go from there. Thanks.